Hey peeps, Folktail here. So I haven't done any videos about SwedgeTimer at any given time, but with the practice mode that was implemented a long time ago, I've had I've basically seen that a lot of people have no clue about the practice mode, the existence of it, and there's also been a lot of questions about how to use it. So I thought I would make a short video quickly explaining how it works so you can see it in a more visual pleasing way, or maybe it's just easier for you to see it in a video. So if we go into the settings of SwedgeTimer, you will see that the practice mode is basically the first window that you will see. And in here, we have a lot of different settings, but mostly you shouldn't really have to worry about whatever you need to click on here. I'm not really sure what the default is, but if we shortly go through it, for the settings, if you leave the weapon speed on 0, which should be well, basically everything is explained if you hover over all the settings. But weapon speed 0, it takes your current main hand weapon speed as default. So if you want to practice faster swing timers, you can tweak it here if you want to, but I would not do that if I was you. For the AW macro, it's basically the Avenging Wrath macro that many of us Rets are using, so the burst macro. Many of us are using Haspot in it, and we're also using Seal of Blood macro for start attack. So we also kind of want to use that when we use wings. And then, should you have DST or not, then you should be practicing with the DST proc as well, so you can kind of learn how to do the different rotations, because the DST trinket does come with a short window where you will be doing a different rotation than the two normal ones. Spell queue window as well was added, so you can tweak that, how long time you can spell queue the different spells during the practicing. For the Bloodlust, there are some different types, but for the boss fight itself, so there's one feature or practice mode where it's a simulated boss pull, basically, where Bloodlust will then be cast and speed up your swing time on the specific second that you set in this one. So for me, for example, 8 seconds into um, the pull or the practice, Bloodlust will be cast, and I will have to adapt. Rotation display you can turn on and off. I will show you what that looks like. That's just basically the icons that you will see at a certain point, and you can tweak them how they look. You can also disable them, obviously. Same goes for the fight timeline. I will explain that soon. So let's just try go into the start practice mode. So when we open the start practice mode here, you will see that we have a couple of different things here. We have the window itself, which is the control panel, basically. You have as I showed, you have the rotation display right here, and it's draggable, so you can tweak it and you can basically move it where you would like. And you have the basically just an indicator for the DST and the Bloodlust as a visual indicator to see whenever stuff is proccing or being cast. So all of this is irrelevant, but it's nice to have. Then we have the timeline. I will show you how that looks like. So for the timeline itself, right now, I won't be able to show much, but it's going to be a timeline where you can see the different inputs, and you would be able to also basically check your twists, and it would also indicate the different rotations and also where you made mistakes, if you did any mistakes, that is. But now let's have a look at the bindings. So the smart thing about practice mode, instead of having to go out in the open world, is that you can use the practice mode without spending mana. It's just a simulation, but of course it comes with the cost of not being able to see those fat juicy damage numbers. Unlucky, but hey, you don't have to drink, so hey, win-win. If we have the Crusader Strike here, for example, so it does say here, right-click icon to map to action bar. So if I right-click my Crusader Strike, you can see here I'm using Bartender. It does light up, so I can click on this one. Let's just reset it for now so you can see how it looks. So now I reset it, I right-click, I click here, and it automatically gets my keybind. It also produces a fake overlay on top of your keybind, so don't worry about that one. That only displays basically if you go into the practice mode, by the way. Let's bind this one. We bind our Seal of Blood start attack. We bind our Crusader Judge. Seal of Crusader, sorry. We don't really want that anyway. Like, we don't really want to do that during twisting. Whatever, it's just for the opener practicing if you want to do that. You have the Judgment itself, of course. We have Conk. We don't want that either. We don't give a shit. And we have our Avenging Wrath macro with the haste pot, right? That's what we had with the Seal of Blood start attack as well. We have the stop attack, which goes to your stop attack macro. We have your haste pot. So if you have haste pot bound just as haste pot, I don't. But if you have, you can do that. And the same goes for this trinket. That's basically your haste trinket from phase 1. Dungeon trinket. I do not remember the name right now. I apologize. So now we've basically bound. So you can test it already now before you basically start the fight. You can test it by just pressing your not by using your mouse, but by basically pressing the keybinds that you just put now. So if I press 1, you can see there will be cooldown overlay. You can see also in the control panel that it's registering it as well. Can't do it with judge because you don't have a seal up. I seal up. We have the seal. I can judge it. There you see. So this resets whenever you start a fight. So quickly to explain how this works. The Bloodlust and the Haste Pot button are there to basically, you can decide if you can manually just proc Bloodlust or Haste Pot while practicing. The buttons, I'm thinking about removing them because I don't really use them. I haven't heard a lot of people use them, but for now they're there. For the practice rotation, we have the raid pull. The raid pull was the one that I explained where Bloodlust will proc 8 seconds in. So it will start out normally. Bloodlust will proc, and then DST will proc randomly as well. For the practice 1-2 rotation, it's basically just again the specific weapon speed 1-2 rotation. I can show you how that looks for now. So if I click it, I start fight. You can see here now, it's a 1-2 rotation. The weapon swings timer starts. So let's just do a Crusader Strike here. You see the timeline. Judge into command, twist, Crusader Strike, wait, auto attack blood, into this, into that, twist, into Crusader Strike, Judge command, twist, Crusader Strike, auto attack blood, into command, twist. So you get how it looks, right? So you can see here, and you can scroll as well. So up in the top of the timeline, you can see here a blue field. You see the 1-2 rotation. You see your attacks. And right now, there are no red crosses, so therefore no mistakes. Let's say I make a mistake. We're just going to show it for the 1-2 again. Start fight. We do a Crusader Strike. That's the right move. Into Judge. Into Twist. And now instead of Crusader Strike, we're going to Judge and Twist again. And now you can see here, we have a cross and it says incorrect correction. You did Twist. Expected Crusader Strike plus SOB auto. So it will basically tell you if you did it good or if you did it bad. And then you can go again. So the other speeds are basically the 2-3. If you don't know about the different rotations, the 2-3 is your CS twist, 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 or CS twist, twist, my bad. And for that one, we basically use this during Lost and Haste Pot. So you start fight, you do Crusader Strike, into Judge, twist, we could do again, twist, Crusader Strike, twist, Judge, twist, Crusader Strike, you get the deal. That's your Lost. 2-4 is if you have the DST as well. So if you get the DST, you will have to do a Crusader Strike, twist, auto, twist. I'll show you how it looks. Crusader Strike, twist, auto attack, blood, into a twist, into a Crusader Strike. That's how it looks. So, but that's basically, so if you're having trouble with Lust, you can practice the Lust one, so 2-3. If you have DST and the Lusted version, you can practice the 2-4. And if you want to have a simulated, basically, a boss pull, which I prefer to practice, is the rate pull. So you click on the rate pull, and you click start fight. So we start off with the Crusader strikes. Other people prefer to judge or twist, sorry. We go set up for a twist. We twist. There we go. Bloodlust procced. We're gonna do a judge there. Twist. We do a Crusader strike. We do 2 twists in a row now. And actually, of course, we should be wingsing, so let's wings. Now we even have a faster swing time. You can see 2-4 because the proc on the DST as well. So yeah, so you get the point. You can basically practice a full simulated boss pull with Lust, Haste Pot, and all your usual macros through SwedgeTimer. You see here we made some mistakes, but that was on, just because we're basically showing it off. So that is a very short, fast explanation of the practice mode for the SwedgeTimer add-on that we've been working with here for TBC Anniversary. And again, if you don't know about it, there is also the twist feedback set up here. You heard the drum sound from me whenever I twist or perform a correct attempted twist. It's called. So you can play around with the sound alerts, spark glow effects, whatever. Everything works. It's great add-on. Very happy with it. Built upon the old SwedgeTimer from Swedge back in TBC Classic. If you have any questions, then feel free to comment down below. Or if you are part of the Lights Club Discord channel, then feel free to DM me through there as well. I always answer questions and I'm very fast at responding. So thank you for watching and enjoy pumping.